that's revenge. Heard they was sleeping again, saying
so fast, shake, shake, shake that thing, put them in my face, make titties swing, pop it, clap it hard, make them swipe a card, jump, make them drop hard, stop and booty, pop it, burn up, take it down, yeah, take it down, burn up, slap it down, yeah, slap it down, pop it, clap it hard, pop it, clap it hard, jump, make them drop hard, stop and booty, pop it.
Crypto YouTube, how's it going? Crypto Stud here, back with another banger. Got my mic set up on my mic mount now. Hopefully I sound really crisp and clear and good to go. Pretty much all set up in my brand new office. Got a few more items I need to set up, but all in all, everything's starting to come around pretty well. Just have some other little caveats to put up, but we're almost back to business, almost back to being organized. Didn't really feel like this was going to take as long as it's taken to get ready, to get set up. Now I'm having a monitor issue, I guess, from transferring it from the old place to the new place. I'm just having some issues with my widescreen monitor, unfortunately. So luck is with us, right? Anyways, I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a wonderful day, wonderful evening, and a good morning wherever you are. Wherever you're listening to this, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the new subs. Appreciate all the views, all the likes, the comments, especially the comments. Keep the comments coming. I love them to death. So we got a packed full video as we always do. But this one's going to be extra special because we're going to take a moment to look at our GANFAN and our imaginary line and our fib retracement levels and see if we've touched any of those yet. If you remember my last video, I spoke of areas to look for potential short spots. I haven't done any shorts yet. I haven't looked to take any shorts yet. Haven't looked to take profits either. Just kind of riding the wave to see where this goes, right? XRP's doing really well. Tesla's doing really well. Just some things are just doing really well. A lot of meme coins are still up. Memes, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call it. But this video is for you. We're packed full of info. I'm going to talk news. I don't have any housekeeping. I guess the secret's out. I'm releasing the psychology course, part 1, soon here. So if you're looking for a good psychology course, you know where to find me, you know where to find my group, and you can go ahead and cop that right away. But we're going to dive into some news. We're going to look at Bitcoin right off the bat, get that out of the way. And then we're going to look at Dow, the dollar, Dow, and then S&P. We'll call it there. I might look at Tesla. Tesla's looking pretty darn good. Would be good to look at that. And also, I will do a special with XRP and Pepe. I did speak about Pepe in one of my live stream videos, trade videos, about how it's starting to look pretty good, and we did have a nice little run with that. So I'm going to look at it further and see if there's any areas that look potential for short, or if we just ride into the moon, right? Into the sunset. So stay tuned, and we'll jump right into the news articles here. So I've been slacking a little bit. Last date was 11/17, so I'm just a couple days behind on this, but we're just going to jump into the latest. See if there's anything good, anything juicy. I did hear that the Fed isn't going to be cutting rates again, so that's something very important to take into effect, just to take note of. Let's see. Bitcoin makes all-time high. AI token boom and zoom and frenzy trading. I actually haven't seen anything of that, so that's news to me. Couple behind 2016 Bitfinex hack sentenced to prison. Great for them. AI agents can help crypto become the currency of AI. I agree to that. I do know that a lot of the AI coins have been just skyrocketing outside of Peanut doing well. There are actually coins out there that are doing good that have some fundamentals. Might not be many of them, but there are some out there. Let's see. I won't get into politics in this video. I've done enough politics for the past month. I'm pretty much politicked out. See, first mover Americans options coming to Bitcoin ETF is a big deal. Not really much in crypto terms for us. Let's check out what we got here. The market looks strong and Wall Street is wrong about the lost decade for stocks. Crude price struggles to build on Monday bounce as major oil field resumes output. Walmart stock approaches a record as sales beat again and outlook raised. New home construction dips in October. United sees nearly a 30% surge in demand for flights to Europe. Christmas market versus 2019. Interesting. Some really good stuff, stock-wise. I'm convinced the U.S. will be drawn into World War III. How do I prepare my finances? Well, I hope that does not happen for us. If it does, buy more Bitcoin, right? I think that's about it here. So before we do get into Bitcoin, I did want to look at the dollar because we are in a very critical point at the dollar right now. So I do want to go ahead and just duplicate this tab. Pop it open. We're going to put the dollar on right away. Whoops, we're not going to publish. We're going to go to the dollar. And we're going to pull it up. So I noticed on the 2 hour, we're coming into a very, very important area. As you can see, we did test this resistance zone R1, which I'm trying to see if we had a swing fail pattern. It looks like we're headed into a swing fail pattern. Yep, we did get a swing fail pattern on the dollar. We're in a critical zone right now. See if we get any support from this. But that looks pretty crazy right there. Hit the weekly P. Weekly P's been hit. We're testing it. We're touching it right now. But I did just want to bring that into the view of everybody. Now, the biggest thing is this weekly. Weekly's looking pretty darn nice overall. You know, we had this bullish divergence on the dollar, had a nice raise, and now we're swing failing. We're not quite swing failing this top side over here from October, but, you know, like I spoke about, we are right here in this area, and we are starting to swing fail this area. So I would expect somewhat of a pullback with the dollar, especially, let's see, weekly still looking pretty darn nice, but the daily starting to turn over pretty badly. 12 hour probably also is. Yep, 12 hours not looking great either. 10 hours turning over as well. Yeah, this just does not look good, which, why am I telling you this? This bodes very well for Bitcoin. You know, in my last video, I did speak about us having a pullback possibly into the weekly P. Did not get that pullback into the weekly P. It was a very large pullback to be, and you know, I just pointed it out as a possibility. Didn't happen, and that's just trading. Sometimes things won't pan out like you want them to. If we had gone down to the weekly P, I probably would have added a bit more to my position than I'm in right now. But we're still sitting up high, so no reason to panic, no reason to look for shorts yet. There's no conviction for us to change the way we're trading yet. We're not near any swing fail patterns. We're not near any areas of resistance. So you just kind of have to let the charts play out. You have to let the asset play out, become what it needs to become before you start making trades and making positions on that. But I did just want to point out the dollar is looking pretty bad. Very weak right now on the higher time frames. So I do expect us to get a pullback. We could pull back into this area again, 105. Let's go ahead and mark this area. Kind of pull back over here into this area. We're going to save this on the chart. And then now we're just going to pop right into Bitcoin, get that out of the way. I do want to look at my chart from the last time we did this video, which if you see we are coming up on that zone pretty darn quick, which, you know, I spoke about us kind of chopping around, taking this area right here, but we're moving up much faster than I expected. And lo and behold, here we are coming up on this area of resistance. Now, this is our invisible line and the GAN fan that we created here. So I would expect somewhat of a pullback, and also it lines up with 100,000. So I would expect somewhat of a pullback on that. Also, the daily is starting to turn over as well. The higher time frames are starting to show bearish postures on us. The weekly still looking pretty darn beautiful, but the weekly will take time to play out more. The 12 hours looking pretty darn bearish as well, although we are getting these bearish signals and we're not really getting much of a move down. There's a lot of weakness for the bears right now. They're not doing much for us. So again, I'm not too much of in a hurry to look for shorts, but it's better to look for a short near this position with how things are looking than this area where we're in price discovery. So now we kind of found price discovery. We've created a range to play, and then we're kind of just playing that zone now. So to me, I probably will take a position if we did swing fill this area. So it's kind of tough to say that I would take a swing fill pattern if we went back up for another position, but you see this would have been a pretty darn nice trade to take right here. Swing fill pattern, but I'm just being cautious. I would kind of like to see this come back down into the 89-90 range before I start looking for, you know, being interested in looking for a short position on this. But overall, you know, Bitcoin is running. It's running wild. It's running great. Weekly still looking beautiful. Weekly still got plenty of room to go higher. Weekly is going to take a bit of time to play out. So this is a great time for when we do have a pullback to look for a good long position to take it higher, because weekly still has juice. Weekly still running. Weekly is still hungry for more upside. Now the daily is starting to turn over. Barely. We're starting to get that weakness from the daily. You know, 12 hours starting to turn over. Now, last video, we also had this bearish posture, and we went up another, 2,000, 3,000 points from that. But we've kind of gotten stuck in this area right here. So for me, I would like to see this area kind of form. You know, we get some price action in this area right here. And then once we start coming down here and candle closing below this area, I would probably look for a nice hefty short position to take, and then possibly take it back down, not too much more, maybe back to a lower fib level right here, possibly 2 fib level. 618 would be a dream. 72,000, which ironically, you know, a month ago that's where we were technically sitting, you know, in some sense. Pretty close to it. So now it just seems like it's crazy to get back down there. But again, Bitcoin does move just as much as it moves up. It moves down just as much. So it's another 20% pullback would be kind of crazy. But if you get, you know, we get 4% tomorrow, another 5% tomorrow, another 6% the next day, you know, we're practically right back into that zone again. So for me, I am leaning a bit bearish for Bitcoin. I'll probably, if we start getting into this zone again, I'll probably look for a front run of this area just to safeguard myself. But ideally, these higher time frames are looking pretty bad. Not a fan of these. I'm not really looking for any longs yet, even though, you know, we've had a massive rally as is. I think the rally needs to cool off, and I think we're looking for somewhat of a pullback to happen here. So the biggest thing though is still looking at the scan fan and this imaginary line that we did. Now the imaginary line is that of previous highs, so, you know, call it what you will. It's not technically quote unquote imaginary line. There is some perception behind that, but yet again, it's 2 taps of old ATH highs playing on this line right here, which is difficult when you're trading, you know, price discovery. It kind of makes it really difficult to find areas where this is going to pull back, or areas where, you know, it's going to reverse. There's no swing fails to be found. There's no resistance levels to be found as well. So it's kind of play it by ear. Now, that's the reason I'm taking more of a neutral stance on looking for a short position. I just want to be very cautious area to be. But hopefully there is a chance for a short position and a chance to take this back down before loading back up for another long up to the upside again, right? So I do want to look at S&P. It's looking pretty darn good. It just keeps going up, 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 and up. I can't really say, you know, technical analysis tells me that this should be pulling back. We did have a minor pullback here. We had a bearish divergence on juxtapose. We did have somewhat of a pullback, so that's great to see that juxtapose kind of played out on that. We didn't really get the play out on this as much. We did get the play out on the bullish divergence on S&P. So S&P just still looks really impressive. Weekly is starting to form a bearish divergence. Again, I think the markets are a bit overextended. I expect somewhat of a pullback happening. If it's not this week, the next week. We're kind of due for somewhat of a reset. We need these to reset, come back down. Daily shows bearish divergence that played out. You know, 12-hour probably had the same thing. We came up in this weekly P area. We tested the weekly P. Let's see, we opened Monday over here, came down on the weekly P. Another prime example of us having the weekly P as a magnet. Great to see. We had some bearish divergence, some bearish posture right here. Had somewhat of a pullback. S&P, you know, doesn't move as much. Stocks don't move as much. Bearish or bullish divergence down here. Had a nice little rally from there. But overall, I'm leaning a bit bearish on S&P from the higher time frames. Now this is looking pretty darn nice on the 10-hour. We did have this nice little reset back to the lows here. Kind of gave us a chance to try to attempt the highs again, but I'm not really a big fan of this. I wouldn't mind seeing us swing fill this area right here and then pull back for a greater downward move. So we'll just kind of set that there, see how that goes for the move, and see what we get from that. So I did want to look at XRP. I don't know if I actually have it on this main page. Let's see. Oh yeah, we do. We have a XRP. Wow, what in the heck? Tough to see this. Blow off top possibly, and then back down to zero we go. Hopefully that's not the case. Weekly's looking pretty darn good. We did have this major pump that kind of really messed up juxtapose. It messes up any indicator, really, when a move like that's made on such a small asset, going from 49 cents to almost $1.30. That's a pretty large move, but nonetheless, the daily starting to top out. We're getting pretty bearish on the daily. Whoops. The 12-hour is super bearish. I mean, absolutely bearish. There's no more, you can't get any more bearish than that. 10-hour, we have the top out signal, which is right at that. So now we're making a pullback. Juxtapose does not miss. Juxtapose is king. Juxtapose hits it daily. So we are getting a pullback on XRP. I would expect XRP to come back. I kind of wouldn't mind seeing the weekly P come back and hit the weekly P. We haven't hit it yet since this new opening. So this is kind of a great spot to like really see price action. You know, what kind of happens when we come back into this range and see what we get out of that. Let's see if we actually get here. If we get here, do we get a nice little bounce? Do we swing fail the low of the weekly P and then come back up to the upside? But I definitely see us testing this. Sorry, I had a call. But I definitely see us testing this. I don't see why we can't not test this. Seems pretty standard there. Let's see, Tesla I wanted to look at. Tesla's looking really darn good. I can't say anything more about this. I spoke about this in a few videos ago about how bullish I had gotten on Tesla. Weekly's looking pretty darn well. Daily's looking pretty darn nice. You know, we're starting to top out a little bit on the daily. 12 hours probably starting to top out as well. Yeah, we're starting to see some signs of bearishness on these higher time frames, which, you know, doesn't bode well. Where is the weekly piece sitting at? Again, I'm leaning a bit more bearish on these weekly P's right here. So it would be kind of nice to see us come back down here and test this. It might not be this week, it might be the following week, but just kind of a profit taking, you know, come down back to reality for a little bit and then maybe make another test back up to the high and swing fill this high. But this chart's looking beautiful. 2 hours starting to form bearish divergence. You know, these higher time frames are looking pretty bad. from a bearish standpoint. I don't really see any more upside for it. Maybe a swing fail pattern before we go back down to the downside, but overall Tesla's had a really nice run. I think we're definitely due for a pullback on this. And now I want to look at Pepe, and then actually let's look at Dow. Let's pop in on Dow real quick, see if Dow's any different. Let's go to the weekly. Never did get this swing fail this low yet. We had that dip right here, this major dip right here, but didn't quite get that test of the low that I was looking for. Weekly is not looking great. We have bearish divergence forming on the weekly. Let's check out the daily. See how the daily looks here. Daily starting to turn over as well. Yeah, again, same concept as S&P. I'm starting to lean pretty bearish on these. I don't really see reason why we can keep going up. We're definitely due for a pullback on these. 6 hour, 8 hour, 10 hour, 12 hour day all look pretty darn bad for this. They look very bearish. 4 hours looking pretty darn bad as well. And then 2 hour probably caps it off, although 2 hour is starting to find some support, but I don't think that will last. Maybe we gap up to this area right here before we continue back down. Although, if you look, we opened up Monday, came down and tested the weekly P. We've hit weekly P, so there's a trade right there. Just coming back into the weekly P itself on a market open is pretty fantastic to see that. 2.47%. Great to see that. All right, let's check out Pepe now. Pepe's had a run. Oh, that looks beautiful. That really does look nice. Now, so we had a top out signal here, and we pretty much juxtaposed, called the very, very top, and here we come down we go. Let's check out the weekly. Weekly is looking beautiful. Weekly is looking absolutely beautiful. I see no reason to panic on the weekly. Day, we need to come back down just a tad bit. Daily is looking pretty bearish. 12 hours looking pretty bearish. 10 hours not looking beautiful either. 8 hours not having a good day as well. 6 hours not looking good. I can't find anything in these charts tonight that tells me to warrant that anything's bullish right now. Everything is looking pretty bearish for me. You know, I just don't see. We did test the weekly P, came up and tested the weekly P, so I'm not a big fan of this chart. That's my problem. But you know, we had a nice little run up. It's possibly a good opportunity to take some profits on this trades and call it a day for now until we come back down and have another chance. So I did want to take a look at XO, see if there was anything really shining on XO. We don't have a Dalton today. It's kind of boring. I don't really expect too much. Net longs and net shorts look pretty good. Open interest looks okay. Would be a little healthier to see this kind of rise up a little bit. Price went up, open interest went up, so that's pretty healthy right there. A lot of longs closed out at the top. Shorts started coming in. I don't really see a bunch of shorts coming in at the bottom. Nobody's really shorting. It's mostly profit taking, which is healthy for us to continue going higher. But that can shift at any time. Let's go ahead and check out high block. Pretty neutral stance on both of these. Nothing's really lenient to the other one. Same concept with this, very neutral. So I do tend, it's tough to say that I'm bearish on Bitcoin, but I'm trading the charts. I'm looking at what I see, and it's telling me that there's a pullback due. Now, do we get it this week? Do we get it this weekend? Do we get it next week? Time will tell. So, but yeah, I mean, that's about all I have to give. I'm looking for pullbacks on pretty much everything in the market. I don't see anything super bullish for me right now to have a different opinion. So, well, I hope you liked the video. I try to make it quick and short, to the point. We got a lot in, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.